Okay, this is my review and discussion for Interview with the Vampire, Season 2, Episode 3, entitled No Pain. Okay, I ain't even gonna lie, this episode was pretty good. It started out in present day time where they were talking to Daniel Malloy. Armand and Louis were talking to Daniel Malloy about, um, hold on, see, I'm getting off track already. Armand was talking to Daniel Malloy about how he met Lestat. And let me just say this. Lestat, his personality hasn't changed at all. His personality started how he was and it continued to stay that way. He talked about how him and Lestat got to know each other and he eventually fell in love with Lestat. And Lestat is the one who basically started their theater group or theater thing. Um, Armand was a vampire. Him and his coven worshipped. They said they worshipped God through Satan. So they worshiped Satan to get through to God. And I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm sitting there, what the what is they talking about? And Lestat he was trying to recruit Lestat for weeks and months, and eventually the coven got tired of Lestat not cooperating with them. So eventually Armand went and he forced Lestat to approach them and join the coven by attacking Lestat's human lover at the time. And Lestat went into their home or their haven and he convinced Armad's coven to turn against him. And they did. They left and it said how they started terrorizing through the night because he also said that before Lestat vampires were a shadow, they stayed in the shadows through the night. They would not do anything. They would not interact with humans besides feeding or running away. And Lestat changed it because he was very open minded and it finally mentioned who Lestat's maker was, which is Armad's child. So I guess you would say Armad is Lestat's grandsire, and he called Lestat Magnus's bastard. But Lestat started the theater thing, and eventually, when Armad told him he loved him, Lestat abandoned them, abandoned the whole entire coven. So we looking through this episode, and I'm looking through this episode, and it went back to the story of hold on, Claudia and them, and they initiated Claudia into the coven, and they also said how that Santiago is the youngest, but he is also the strongest member of the coven because his blood is stronger. His maker or his sire was very strong and had potent blood. And they eventually killed him for a crime. And they also mentioned how Armad knew who Louis and Claudia's maker was, knew that Lestat was, and he just wanted Louis to admit it. So Louis did, and eventually, through this episode, Santiago told Armand that the Coven is getting weary of Louis because he will not join them, and that Armand should handle him, should kill him. And Armand said he would take care of it. And as they were initiating Claudia through the Coven, and she doggone fed upon every member of the Coven, um, Armand told Louis how he loved Lestat at a time, and then he started to hate him because of what he did to him, how he left them and abandoned them. And he went up into, they were talking about how this is what gets me and this is what broke me down. Um, Armand told Louis that eventually Claudia will go insane because every vampire that is churned as a child will. And Louis tried to plead with him and told that she, saying that she would not, but he said he has seen it time and time again and it will happen. And that's leading up to the fact that Claudia will eventually start to regret that she was turned so young. And it's gonna happen. If you read the books, it's gonna happen, which will lead up to, her death. And they read um to her the 5 rules that they must follow. How you cannot turn a child into a vampire is one of them. How you cannot kill another vampire is another one. I forget what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna have to find out eventually. But I forget so much, and I feel like Santiago is gonna usurp Armad because he acts like the leader of the Coven already. He acts like it. Um, and I'm glad that they did mention Magnus because I wanted to hear about Magnus. And yeah, in the last episode when I said that they were talking about the 15th century, okay, they did go back to the 15th century. He did meet. I I don't know though because I feel like he said it was the 1500s when he met Lestat, but then again, I don't know. Maybe I'm hearing wrong, maybe I'm looking wrong, but this episode was pretty good. I mean, I am going through this episode, and I would say it wasn't as good as the last episode was, but it was pretty insightful. Santiago, he's kind of influencing the Coven, so I take it that he really never met Lestat. That's what I think. Or at least they haven't mentioned it. They haven't showed him because when they showed the old Coven, he was not there. But I think he has inspiration for or admiration towards Lestat. That's the way I feel. Um, but like I said, Claudia's in the Coven. Okay, Santiago and I think the rest of the Coven wants Louis dead because he will not join the Coven and they feel like he will be the unraveling of the Coven. But Armand, he fell in love with Louis, so he don't want to kill him. And like I said, it was showing the preview for the next episode. Claudia is going down a dark path, and her whole hatred of being turned so young will eventually come back on her. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I'm trying to remember if I am missing something. But season 2, episode 3, I'll give this an 8.5 out of 10. Um, There could have been a few more improvements, but the episode was pretty good nonetheless. And I will see you in the next one. So take it easy. Oh, and also before I go, they did mention uh, that Louis was hallucinating that he was killing Lestat again, and he slammed a human's head into the wall, eventually killing him. So that's one of the reasons they said he is putting the coven at risk because he is endangering them of being discovered. So yeah, but I'll see you in the next one.